Mhm. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Duncan. And everyone else.
Hello, friends.
Lovely to see all of your human faces.
Good evening, greetings from India, Dr. Param.
Oh, I'm
Dr.
sorry, I
Param?
didn't have my video on. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our speakers. Clara, can you pronounce your name for me?
Sure, it's Klaartje.
Klaartje. Thank
Yes.
you. Welcome, Klaartje.
Thank you. I think Wieke has to turn on her
Yeah, she's
screen. Yes, there she is.
Yeah.
there. She is. Hi, welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I'm just still admitting people, so we'll just take another minute or two before we start.
okay.
Hmm.
Do you want a chicken sandwich for lunch?
Ooh,
Yes.
good.
I would love one.
Chicken
Thank you.
sandwich.
More folks coming. Okay, I will keep an eye on the waiting room as more folks join us. Just another moment. All right, well, welcome everyone. And thank you for joining us today. And I can see once again, we have a very international group, which is very exciting. And we're really pleased to have Wieke and Klaartje with us. So the way that we usually begin our calls, for those who aren't usually on the call, is we have everyone sort of go around and just say your name and where you are physically, which could be the place, the type of place you're sitting, sort of the space you're in right now, and as well as the city, just so we get a sense of who's with us. And then after that, we'll transmit, sorry, we'll just a few more people. We'll transition into our talk with our presenters and some dialogue with them after they speak. So usually Peter Gable leads us in this portion of the coming together. So Peter, can I turn it over to you?
Yes, sure. Hello, everybody. And since there are a number of people I haven't seen before, at least some, I'll just say this word about what we are, PISLAP, the Project for Integrating Spirituality, Law, and Politics. We are a group of lawyers, law students, some non-lawyers who are committed to the creation of a new legal culture that emphasizes empathy and compassion and mutual understanding, that aims to transform one important aspect of our culture, the legal system, so that we can help to bring into being a world in which our longing to actually see and be seen by each other is made manifest in the world, and where justice is understood in part as the realization of that very longing for human connection, human recognition, affirmation of one another's inherent beautiful and good humanity, which we know exists within each of us, however much it may be masked in the wider culture. And I just say one word about our not having achieved that yet. Tragedy of execution this morning of Lisa Montgomery, the first woman executed in the United States, I believe since Ethel Rosenberg, 53 years ago. And I mean, in 1953, so 70 years ago. Which is just a terrible, painful reminder of how much violence still remains within the legal system that we currently exist in. And so we're making every effort to be a group that is trying to bring into being another kind of legal world. Okay, so I say that and then invite people to, on a more spirited note, to introduce yourselves and say where you are, what city you're in, and maybe a sentence about yourself, and what you're looking at, if you like, how you're feeling. So I'll start with Yudong. Yudong Zhu.
Hi everyone, I'm Yudong. Well, I'm a public policy student. This, I believe, is my third HiSLAP call since last year, end of last year. Very happy to have found the group. And I'm currently at school right now, and I'm basically just working with, I'm working with Peter, and I actually brought in my good friend Brandon today, and he's the first time on the call, and hopefully he's gonna enjoy the meeting and learn something as well.
Thank you, Yudong. Duncan Holloman. I'm just
So-
going to go across my screen here. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I am in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's a lovely sunny day out there. And I am building a camper van. So I was out there building a kitchen cabin. I am a recovering lawyer, but most of my time I've spent as a psychotherapist. And I'm a research associate connected with the School of Theology at Boston University, looking at conflict transformation.
Thanks, Duncan. Bruce Peterson.
I'm Bruce Peterson. I'm a retired judge in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm in my home office. We're waiting for a sleet storm here. And I share Peter's distress at the execution this morning. I spent some time working on the death row in Florida, and whenever there's an execution, there's just a noticeable emotional impact on all the people who are waiting. And I'm just thinking about all the people on death rows across the country who are affected by this. So, and I also, I can tell you I'm going to need to leave here for a few minutes, but I'll get back on as soon as I can.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. Well, Clarcha, why don't you introduce yourself and then you can come back and do it for real when you speak.
Sure, thank you. So my name is Klaartje. I am in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I have been a lawyer since 2003 and a mediator since about 8 years. And yeah, we'll talk further, I think, about what our background is and what Vic and I are trying to do in the Netherlands. And we do very I'm so happy to be here. It feels like a homecoming. We've been working with Eileen for a few years on forgiveness too. I'm so happy to see Eileen here. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, wonderful to have you. Dr. Param.
Myself, Dr. Param, greetings to all of you from India. I'm currently in western part of India, Gujarat, and I'm a professor of law. I'm specialized in teaching the integration of religion and spirituality in law and justice. And it's almost 11:40 p.m. and the whole of India is very excited because within few days, we all are going to get the vaccination. So there is a great excitement or some kind of agitation is there in the atmosphere. We don't know what it is. And the government has announced that the vaccination will be given first for the COVID warriors, and then only for the rest of the people. So we all are waiting what is going to happen. Let's pray to God.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Param. Ken Haldenstein.
Hello, everyone. I'm currently in Sarasota, Florida, where I'm choosing to spend the winter, although I reside in White Plains, New York. It's great to see everyone, and I will have to leave early, unfortunately, at 1:45 Eastern time. I apologize for leaving early and missing the end. So I'm sorry, very sorry about that, but I really grateful to be here for the first part of today's gathering. Thank you.
Great to have you for that, Ken. Brad Roth, Bradley Roth.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Manhattan, New York, and I'm a chair of Mediators Beyond Borders New York group, and I teach a course called Mediation and Meditation at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and am an attorney as well. And good to be here.
Welcome. Nanette Shore, a word from you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Nanette Shore. I'm sitting in my apartment in New York City. In my working life, I work at an organization that serves a low-income community in the Bronx, which is a very poor, the South Bronx, a poor part of New York City. Work on social justice issues, and I'm also one of the organizers of PISLAB, and I'm just delighted to be here.
Wonderful. Eileen Barker, good to see you. You are muted.
I guess that would help, huh? Thanks, Peter. Yes, I am sitting in my home in San Rafael, California, which is just outside of San Francisco. A bit of an overcast day, but the sun is kind of breaking through. And just feeling very grateful to be here, Peter. I'm grateful for this vision that you have, because this is really, you know, what we need more than ever. And my passion and my work as a lawyer has been in the area of healing conflict, transforming conflict, and forgiveness, which I think is part of that. And so, you know, it's the spirituality, and I just feel that as lawyers, you know, what role can we play to take the lead on this? Because we're in a cultural, I want to say, time of cultural shift.
Thanks, Eileen.
Thank you. Oh, I just want to say one last thing that I really jumped on, because I do love these two women, Clarcia and Vika, and I've gotten to know them well in Amsterdam and miss them. And so the chance to see them was a great draw. So thank you for that.
Very nice. All right. Thanks, Eileen. Vika. You're muted.
Yes.
Just a word. We'll hear from you in a minute.
Oh, okay. You want me to introduce myself now or not? Very short.
Yeah, your name and where you are, and we'll hear from you.
Okay. So my name is Vika Monster, and also in Dutch, Monster is a very crazy last name. It has the same meaning as in English. So I always tell my clients that they are allowed to laugh when I introduce myself, and the same counts for you. I'm also very honored and happy to join this meeting and to have the opportunity with Clarcia to tell you about our project of designing a new court of justice. How is that going to look like? And I'm also in Amsterdam, in the other room of our office here in Amsterdam.
Very good. Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing from you. Cara Perry.
Hello, so thrilled to be here. I am in Bridgewater, New Jersey. It's overcast, but it's a beautiful day, as my second son is 18 today. So I've successfully raised two boys to legal adulthood anyway. Once they start adulting, that would be good. I'm so thrilled with PISLAB that I found this group. This is my second live call, but I've listened to the recordings by the way of Conscious Lawyer Magazine and Aileen Quinn. And I guess I call it my midlife awakening. I left my corporate law job in September with much gratitude and was just thrilled to literally stumble upon this. So much resonates with me, and I'm thrilled to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Cara. Kim Vanderheiden.
Hello, I'm not a lawyer. I'm an artist in Oakland, California, and I'm sitting in my studio right now. Part of my supporting my studio is a greeting card line, so that's what you see in the corner there. And I'm here filling orders today. I made a piece of artwork about Lisa Montgomery last week and was pushing to get people that I knew to try to advocate for her life. And so today's kind of a difficult day. I read the order about her execution before I went to bed last night. And so it's nice to be in community and looking at something positive right now.
Thank you, Kim. Thanks. Thanks for your beautiful Facebook post about this. Una Tapper.
I'm Una Tapper, and I'm in Suffolk County, New York. And I'm really grateful to be a part of this group because the subject matter is so timely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to the participation.
Thank you so much. Carmen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carmen McQuitty. I use she or they pronouns. And Kim, I was just looking up to see if you have an Instagram. That's what I was doing. So if you have an Instagram, I'd love to follow you. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota. As soon as Judge Peterson introduced himself, I thought, I think I might have appeared in front of Judge Peterson at some point. I am a lawyer at the University of Minnesota Student Legal Service, criminal defense lawyer by trade. I am up to my eyeballs in protest representation right now because of the uprising this summer, and it is my passion and my love. And I also, I teach leadership. I used to be a yoga teacher. So, you know, finding this group has been, I mean, I follow you. This is my first call. And it just seems really relevant, and glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. Wonderful to have you. Sylvia Clute.
Yes, I'm Sylvia Clute in my home in Richmond, Virginia, and I was just listening to the debates that have begun on the second impeachment of Trump. And I'm a former trial attorney. I left when it became very clear to me that there's an alternative model that is actually far better based on love and not vengeance. So now I spend all of my time working on a parallel model of justice. But I greatly admire those of you who work in the trenches of the legal system, working on changing it. So I'm very eager to hear the presentation today. So thank you all for your work.
Thanks, Sylvia. Good to see you. Rand Rosenblatt.
Hello, I'm in my home in Philadelphia. I'm a retired professor of constitutional law. And years ago, I worked with Peter and Ann and other people in PISLAP and many others in the critical legal studies movement. And I'm very glad to be part of this new attempt to transform the legal system.
You're here. Ann Friedman.
Yes, hello, folks. In the same home in Philadelphia, but in front of a different commuter than Rand. And I teach at Rutgers Law School in Camden, New Jersey, and I am just starting a semester, a new course with my co-teacher Victoria Chase, in which we are called Rethinking Criminal Law, Non-Punitive Approaches to Accountability and Repair. So you can imagine that there's a lot of connection between this and everything that's going on in our country and everything that's going on in this call today. So I'm very glad to be here and glad to say hello to all of you people, both those I have met before and those I have never met before. It is really comforting in these times to have an opportunity to gather and gain spiritual sustenance and share community.
You're here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Julia Horn.
Hi there. Well, I'm by some strange chance of life. I'm in England, in Manchester, I am a teacher of criminology and law, sometimes on a short-term contract with the University of Manchester, currently not working. And for my other part of entertainment in life, I study law to master's level with both Manchester. I got a healthcare ethics and law master's at Manchester, and I'm currently studying business law and human rights with the Open University in England. And I'm here because I came in contact with Kim and some of the others over the
I guess, Julia, can you finish that sentence? You came in contact with Kim.
Yeah, I went to I've been connected with some law events, reimagining how law could be consciously taking apart the state of law. So I came across Kim and some of the others, and this was advertised on her LinkedIn. So that's how I got.
Great. You mean Kim Wright, I think. And
Yeah.
Got you. Wonderful. Thank you. Now let me see who's Sean Mulcahy. All the boxes switched around a bit. Sean.
Yeah.
In what? Could you click on your video so we can see you? Is that a possibility? We'll come back to Sean. I think. Sean, can you hear me? We'll come back to you, Sean. Orhan Ardent.
Hi, everyone. I am a public policy student as well with UDong. I'm happy to be here and learn about everything that's going on. I am currently studying for LSATs, and I'm excited to see, a new alternative to the legal field.
Great, fantastic to have you. Wonderful. The youth are emerging within the PySlab community. Okay, and by the way, please do put your emails on the chat line, so if we don't have it, so we can be sure to get a hold of all of you. And the 202 number, I assume, is Perry Sedman.
You assume correctly. I am walking in Miami Beach, Florida, where I live. I've been hanging around PySlap for 25 years. I have the bad timing of heading back to my hometown next week, Washington, D.C., because of my grandson's bar mitzvah, which should be interesting, given all the restrictions. And I'm glad to be here and say hello to everyone.
Thanks, Perry. Sean, we'll try once more. Sean, can you hear me? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now a bit better, Peter?
That is better, yes. Please say where you are and all that.
Yeah, sure. My name's Sean Mulcahy. I'm from Ballarat, which is a small town about an hour and a half north of Melbourne, Australia. It's 5 a.m. here in Melbourne at the moment, so please excuse me for not putting on my camera. I've only just gotten out of bed, to be honest. I am a research associate at the Australian Research Centre for Sex, Health and Society at La Trobe University here in Victoria, Australia. And I'm also a sessional lecturer at the Centre for Theatre and Performance at Monash University. So I have a background in performance, and I, as part of my research, explore what theatre and performance research and practice can usefully teach us about what we do in court. So I'm very interested in hearing the talk today, and looking forward to hearing what comes out of it.
Wonderful. Fascinating. Thank you. Bonnie Silvestri.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bonnie Silvestri. I'm in Sarasota, Florida. I also teach Women in the Law, which just started this week. My class at USF Sarasota Manatee. I work for the county, and I also have an arts website, Everything Arts, and have been heavily involved in the arts community. So I'm looking forward to the talk as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great to have you. Now, I don't have Elaine Quinn on my screen. Are you back there somewhere, Elaine?
No, Elaine wasn't able to make it today. I heard.
I
from
see.
right
That's
before I-
fine. No, someone referred to Elaine earlier, so I thought
Yeah,
she
I
might be.
sent her regards to everyone, but wasn't able to come.
Okay, very good. All right. Have I called on everyone who I can see on my screen? Anybody here who I haven't asked to speak? All right, then let me turn it over to you, Nanette, to introduce, I guess, Vicky and Clark.
Yeah, I'm just want to once again thank Vicky and Richa sorry, Klarsha. I apologize for your for my difficulty with the names, for joining us and for your article in The Conscious Lawyer. We're anxious to hear from you, and I'm just going to turn it over to the two of you to lead the call, and I will help with facilitating the question and answer. So welcome.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nanette, and of course, Peter, for your wonderful introduction. I just want to start by saying that it's for me such a wonderful experience to have this crazy Zoom platform thing and really feel connected with all of you. So I just wanted to say that at first, and I prepared the preparation or this presentation together with Klaartje. And I will start by telling the beginning of the project, the designing and rethinking the structures of the Court of Justice here in Amsterdam. And the second part of the presentation, Klaartje will tell you about the upcoming projects, because we will start next month in a few other cities here in the Netherlands. I have a tendency when I start talking that I don't stop. So if I'm going to be too long, then Klaartje will interrupt me and will stop me. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So I'm a lawyer now for more than 20 years, and I started my career at a conventional office, and during my first 15 years as a lawyer, well, not 15, 10 years as a lawyer, I was like a very, what I would call old school lawyer. So you are used to make a lot of noise. You don't want the other party to win. Fight is a good strategy. And I really enjoyed that. So I like a conflict, I like fighting, so, and I like all the legal stuff, try to figure it out, what the law gives as a solution. So I was really happy with that. But after, well, when I became older and you know, at one point you sort of like know what you can do, the tips and tricks. And the voice in my head became stronger and stronger, like, Vika, what are you doing? Like, for instance, if you know that you will never win the case, nevertheless, you ask for 10 witnesses, or nevertheless, you're going to try to put, in Dutch, we would say put sand in a machine, but that is not... Klaartje is now going to laugh because this is very bad English. So sorry for that. No, try to delay the proceeding just by delaying it, not with knowing that you will win the case. So that voice in my head became stronger and stronger. Like, is this about you and your ego and you want to win? Or is this about the suspect or the victim, what you are representing? And in that period, Klaartje and I met in a criminal case. And well, we decided to risk for us what was certain to start our own company as criminal defense lawyers, and I do not know how it is for you or the lawyers in other parts of the world, but at this moment in the Netherlands and especially in Amsterdam, it's not easy to get enough work and to get proper paid for work as a criminal defense lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we both also have a family and a mortgage, and so it was a big step. Also because we really decided to do it on a different way. So instead of this old school fighting strategy, we started searching for the harmony model. Is there a way, is there an integrative way to look at all the different parts of a proceeding, of the participants, and how can we serve all the issues instead of focusing only on one issue and making the conflict even bigger instead of, well, bringing a solution. So from there, we did all different kinds of projects, and in, I think it was 2018, they're building a new courthouse in Amsterdam. And Klaartje and I did all sorts of projects on forgiveness, mindfulness in law, well, so this is already from 2014. We are building on this new integrative way of practicing our law practice. So at one day, I had a court session, and I was on my way back home, and I was just sort of like rethinking what happened during the court session. And I thought, why are we doing it the way we are doing it? So we have this courtroom, and then there are in front of us, there are 3 judges, and they are a bit higher placed than the suspect. So they sort of like look down on the suspect. And then next to the suspect, there's his lawyer. Next to the 3 judges, there's the prosecutor, the public prosecutor. Behind the suspect, so he cannot look at him or her, is the victim. And then also the victim's lawyer, and maybe even sometimes in important cases, there's also public. So we are all together in this courtroom, and then we ask from the defendant that he, well, to put it simple, that he's honest, or that he's confessing, or that he's not telling us, sorry for the word, but a shitty story. And that is what in a lot of cases happens, that the defendant tries to get away with it, or he denies against all the evidence. So I was just thinking, like, how can we even ask that from a suspect being in such an unsafe environment? And I thought about my own private situation, like when I have a fight or a quarrel with my husband or my children, and especially with my husband, for me, it's not easy to admit, well, okay, actually, I have been a pain in the ass myself. So I was thinking, if it's for me, even in my safe environment, in a house, in a private setting, not easy to be honest and admitting your own faults, how can we expect that from a suspect? So from that idea, and also, of course, all the projects Klaartje and I were already doing, we thought, how would it be if we got the opportunity to design a new courtroom where instead of values like authority or controlling or punishment or, well, all that values, instead of that, you start thinking and creating from hope or compassion or humbleness, humanity. So from there, this project started, and we were very fortunate to have the head of the reconstruction of the new building, the new courtroom or the new courthouse in Amsterdam. He was from the beginning very enthusiastic, and he promoted us and he helped us facilitating the whole project. So actually, before we knew it, after a few months, we had this collaboration with the University of Amsterdam and the Art School of Amsterdam, the Rietveld Academy, and then the architectural design department, and together with 20 law students and 10 architectural students of the law school, we started the project. And well, that was just it was very fun doing it, but also very inspiring and amazing designs. As a result, I will show you within a few minutes a few of the designs. Well, as you notice, I can talk and talk and talk. So I have the feeling that maybe, Klaartje, is it already, how much time?
So you've got 1 more minute.
Oh, that's typically
No, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, but I will speed up a bit. So because I can imagine that maybe after our presentation you have questions, and then all other stuff we can discuss. But what I really loved about the project is that in our ambition to change the law, and of course we are realistic, we know that we cannot change the law, but still we want to. And if you talk about forgiveness or compassion or, well, soft things like that in law, especially in criminal law, it is not easy to connect with your community, with the other lawyers, with judges, and with prosecutors, although we have our own group. But still, the point I want to make is that if you start about redesigning the courtroom, a value like hope can be shown in a new table, or in a chair, or in maybe a new ritual, like how do we start a proceeding. So it's an easy way to talk about values which are for a lot of lawyers inconvenient. So it really opens up a discussion, and it's such a practical way of looking at very deep values and very basic principles of, yeah, how can we really create justice. So I really love that. And the students, especially the law students, because they're of course very much used to just study, and they really loved it that they were challenged and asked to think out of the box and really let the creation flow and just think about how would it look in an ideal world. So, and then finally, before I start with the presentation, we did not know that in advantage, because it was only the project that we want to do with the students, but the Court of Amsterdam really embraced the results, and one of the designs is now going to be really created in the new courtroom. So we will have 2 courtrooms, especially for juvenile cases, because that is the most easy place to start with something new. So yeah, the official architectural office of the courthouse in Amsterdam, like a very high class architectural office, started with our the results of this project and created a design. So that is, we would not have imagined that actually would happen, and but it is. So so now a very, for me, special moment is that I want to share the screen, but then I have to ask Nanette, I think. Can you allow me to
Give it a try. It may be enabled for you to just do it. Just try it and let's see.
Yeah, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh dear. Okay, let me see what I can do.
Nanette, I know how to fix it.
You do?
Yeah, if you go under on your lower bar on your computer, there's a setting on the administrator that has to do with security or privacy. You click on that and there's a submenu.
Oh wait, I have a who can share all participants. Let me see if that. Let me see if
That
that
will do it.
Yes.
Before, thank you. Ken. Let me see if that works, and if not, we'll.
It should work if you click on all participants can share the screen.
Wait.
It does. Good.
And I have to remove this, and then I go to this. So can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So first I wanted to show you a few designs of the students. So the collaboration of the law school and the art school, the Rietveld Academy. You see here the design of one of the design students, Anan Yap. And I will quote his first sentences. What the courthouse needs is someone who is not there to judge, but someone who hears you, who sees you, and who supports you and wants to help you. And what you see on the photo is he made a poem, and it's one big encouragement for compassion and hope and humanity, and an encouragement to have the court session which is upcoming in a safe environment, so that there is the space that all the participants will say what is needed to say. So as a support and a new ritual to start a court session. And he also designed, you can see that on the next photo, a garden. So a space where all the people who come to the courthouse can have a place to rest and for contemplation and meditation. And so that is one of the designs I wanted to show you. We just don't have enough time. If you're interested, I can send it to you, because of course you are very much welcome to use it as an inspiration. So this is the design of Roos Brandjes, and her design has been used also as one of the basis of the design which is now going to be created in the courthouse in Amsterdam. So she was really focusing on safety and flexibility and clarity, because as a suspect or a victim, of course you have a lawyer and people tell you what is going to happen and inform you, but if you are in the courtroom yourself, you are so overwhelmed. Actually, you have no idea what you are seeing and hearing. So to feel safe to say what is necessary, there also needs to be clarity. So you can see on this photo, she focuses on colors. And then from here, the next photo, you can see that she created different, wat is dat, Klaar? Vlakken? Je kan natuurlijk niks zeggen.
think spaces.
Spaces, sorry. So different spaces for the judges, the witnesses, the suspect, the victim, so that it's all very clear. Also in color, in colored spaces, who is who in the courtroom. And as you can see on the picture right below, and that is the one of the fundamentals of the new design of the courthouse in Amsterdam, of the courtroom. It's a round table. So the round table is the main part of the new design. Yeah, oh yeah, and this is the last design. What I wanted to show you, what I really love about this is Beerta Gerards, and she's a law student, and she actually was really struggling during the whole project, like what I'm gonna do, I'm not sure. And then she started with the chair, and she noticed that the chair of the judges is much bigger, much more comfortable than the chair of the suspect. And she dove into literature and science about, well, this subject, and she discovered that there was actually scientific evidence that if you sit on a bigger chair, a more comfortable chair, it really makes you feel more powerful. And if you are on a bad chair or an inconvenient chair, it makes you feel more worse. So that is the quote which you can read here. The chair you are sitting on affects not only your body posture, it also affects your behavior. And that is like it's such a simple thing, a chair. And it can be of so much influence on how you feel. And in my opinion, this has also to do with dignity and the feelings of shame, which a lot of my clients, not only suspects actually, but also victims, but especially suspects, they really feel ashamed. And I think it's really necessary that we rethink like what are we showing, what do we want to show if we put a suspect on a chair like that, and is that necessary? Well, I think you can guess what my answer will be, but I find it very interesting what I said before, like the combination of maybe such a vulnerable issue as shame, like shame. It's not easy to talk about it, and then you connect it with a chair, which is so common and normal, and so I find it very challenging, and it creates a space where we can really look each other in the eyes and tell each other what we really want. And also during this project, and I will close with that, all the law students, you know, we all aim and we long for justice. So and that's a big thing. And in reality, a lot of times the system fails in bringing the justice what we search for. So well, it's a very inspiring project to do. One last thing I will show you. You can see here, this is one of the designs of the architecture office Kaan for the new courtroom in Amsterdam. So this is one, and then let's see. Yeah, and here you see, oh no, let's see, where was it? Yeah. So these are the, there was one more. I don't know. Yeah, here it was. And this is also. So now I have to go back and stop sharing the screen. Even kijken hoor. Oh yeah, here. Yeah. So I took all the time of Klaartje, so I hope you will excuse me for that, and especially Klaartje. And I give the floor to Klaartje. Thank you.
Okay, but first let me look at Peter, because about timing, the only thing I can add, I can be very quick actually, just 1 minute, and then we've got, perhaps it's good to have some questions.
Nanette?
Sorry?
I'm just going to ask Nanette, let's extend for 15 minutes.
No, I was, if it's okay with folks, let's let Klaartje have a few moments and then extend to 10 or 15 after for those who can stay. I'm hoping that's okay. So
Okay, great.
Klaartje, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So this was 2018, and I think the results were like beginning of 2019, and the court will be opened after the summer. There are 2 new courtrooms built that we can actually see. We're very excited about this, but a lot of people were excited about this in the Netherlands, and we feel there really is momentum. So a lot of people, especially within the Council for the Judiciary, the judges involved and courts, they were so excited because this really fills a need from a lot of judges actually to speak justice in a different room, basically. So we found that there were other cities interested as well, and we've got we asked for a fund to enroll this in a few other cities, which we received, and so now we have rolled this out in Almelo, which is in the north, and in The Hague, and in Arnhem, and we're going to do the same thing, and we've been busy for a year almost in finding law schools locally and art schools who were interested to work together, and the courts and the courthouses in these cities are also about to reorganize things and or rebuild the buildings. So they were very interested to do this project and give us access to their courthouse so we could use it, or actually the students could use it to think of new concepts. So actually we're starting in February in 2 cities, in The Hague and in Almelo, and it's so we wanted to keep it very local. And I'm sure in the States this will also be the case, because in cities, like, it's very different if you go to the courthouse in Amsterdam or if you go to a courthouse in a smaller city of Holland. There's such a different atmosphere, and every city, every courthouse has their own needs, and so we were asking only local people to be involved, also local attorneys and local prosecutors and judges, and also suspects and victims and all people involved, to tell the story to the students. And everyone has his own side on how they view the room. So a judge could think, well, I would love to be in a different room with this suspect to have a more intimate conversation, but a victim would never have that, would never want that to happen. And we've also got rules that don't allow judges to have that freedom. So we want to create a space where those students can be they know of these limitations, but they also have the space to be free in their creation process. And so based on the process we had in 2018, we built a basic structure for these students and these universities to take over and really build their own way to deal with this process. And actually, we're offering this to all of you too. And like, if there's anyone else, wherever, in whatever part of the world, we've got a lot of material and experience in how to set something up like this. And so, for instance, in The Hague, it's already different now from what they've done in Amsterdam, and it's different from what they're doing in Almelo. And in The Hague, for example, they want to build a performance. So they're asking the law students to write a script. So based on the information they're receiving from the professionals and also one of the suspects that we're working with, the suspect is going to give the information, and the students are going to ask him. So what would be the ideal scenario for you if you would rewrite this? What would it look like for you? And so they're going to rewrite the script, because, well, whatever that will be. And when the law students are finished writing that, so what we've seen in Amsterdam is that law students are, they're very much more focused on words and less on building, obviously. When they're finished on writing, the design students will pick it up and make a performance, and they're going to show it to judges in The Hague to really give the feeling of the scenario, what could be. And it could also be this concrete designs and tables and chairs and whatever rooms, but it's also the spirit, I think, of justice and how it looks in a court. So and then after the summer we're going to finish in the other city in Arnhem. Obviously because of COVID, it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be online. So we're very interested to see what results we're going to get. And also we're thinking that also in court, there's a lot more online, obviously. Perhaps we can also think about new ways in this new world. Maybe we should return to writing each other handwritten paper letters. I don't know, or go outside and have a walk, and so that would be an interesting extra element to this new project. So that's what I can add to Vicke's story, and happy to hear your questions.
Thank you so much, Klausja and Vicke. I think we have a question from Bonnie Silvestri. Bonnie, do you want to jump in?
Yes, thank you so much. That was amazing. I loved what you said. And it also, I did a lot of service learning classes, so you're doing a beautiful job of incorporating students into the process, which I think is amazing. My question was the ways in which the artwork that's in the courtroom can impact the decision-making process. When I worked at the New York State court system, I took a tour of all the artwork because I was selecting a logo for this new entity that we were creating. And I just found it very profound to see the kind of artwork that was selected for all the different courts, and whether the message of the pieces, maybe if they were a bit more abstract, perhaps would have like a different impact, or if you looked at that at all.
So Vicke, do you want to answer this?
No, Klaart, you can go ahead.
Okay, so what I understand from you, Bonnie, is that your question is what's the influence of artwork to the result of a hearing, I suppose.
Or like the artwork that might be placed within the courtroom.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that could be one of the elements that we're looking at, but it's one of the elements, and it's a very interesting element for sure. In Holland, we've got horrible artwork in courthouses. It's like, I don't know what they're thinking. It's like they're trying to be neutral, but in the end, it's all very like depressive. But it would be I mean, you probably could. We're not focusing on just that. And if you would, I'm sure you could start a whole new like PhD, or maybe there is already a PhD written on this. I'm sure there is, and I would be interested to read it. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting. Because I was just taking a stroll down memory lane, and I had forgotten I did that previously. It was so many years ago, and I actually chose to just use like a lotus flower because it was more abstract. Because I was looking at all these pieces, and they seem to almost give the answer, or like if the artwork is so realistic, it almost kind of suggests what should happen. So I just chose something that was actually like a relief pattern that was sculptural, and had it just turned into a logo, and it felt like it suited it more. So so I actually forgot that was sort of where I ended up. So I think abstract may be the way to go, because then it wouldn't kind of presuppose an ending.
So well, we once looked into also the Lady Justice and her different appearances through all over the world. Like for instance, I saw this logo from the Court of Constitution, I'm not sure, from South Africa, and it's a drawing of a tree with people underneath it, like gathering together. That's their logo for justice. It's beautiful. And also in the States, you've got this beautiful book. I can recommend it to you later if you want to, with all these different appearances of Lady Justice, which says so much. Is she blindfolded or not? Or maybe she's just another woman that's going to the market, or whatever. You can go crazy on that topic.
Maybe I can add a little thing to this, that we discussed during the project, like what you say, like Bonnie, the influence of art. And then immediately you get the discussion about like this student likes this and this person likes that. And one thing what was really clear is that nature is neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the right word in English, but it just gives peace and relief. So one of the elements of the design and what we are really aiming also to achieve in the new courtrooms in Amsterdam is that there is nature in the courtroom. And of course you have these plants. We all have, and most of the time they're not like nice big plants, but sort of like poor plants. But we really want to put nature in the courtroom. So that is one of our wishes.
We have a question next from Dr. Param.
Yeah, it's a brilliant talk. I enjoyed so much. Thank you so much for this. I have a question. I have always wondered this symbol of Lady Justice in India. I have seen this Lady Justice with a sword and a kind of a balance, which is never in balance. It's always tilted, and she is blindfolded. I never understood this. The justice should actually be open. Thinking that you close your eyes so that you will not be biased is actually a very poor idea of a judge or poor idea of a justice. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure. a lot of thoughts, and I did a lot of, but it's my personal interest actually. It's I'm not sure if we really touched that in this process, because it's really on the side. I dug into like the woman, the goddess that was like the goddess of law before a Lady Justice, which is Ma'at. She's an Egyptian goddess. And she was the goddess, and she's weighing the hearts of the dead people that want to move on to the next life. So that's where the weighing, the scales come from, and the scales and the sword are, you see it in different, it's also with Archangel Michael. He's you see figures, it's different figures turning into one. And then the mother of Lady Justice is Themis, and she's like a very neutral woman. There's nothing, she's not carrying anything, she's just standing there. And what I find most beautiful is that her parents are Gaia and Uranus, which are the goddess of the earth and the god of the heavens. So really Justice is the daughter of those two. So yeah, you can say a lot about symbols and mythology, and yeah, that will be an interesting next project, I think.
Thank you. We have a question from Dave Neta, who just joined us. Dave, go ahead.
Yes, thanks everybody. And so sorry I missed the first part. I'm in London and I didn't really keep track of the time, and I had other Zooms, but I'm sure I missed a very special event. I just came in when Clarcha was mentioning the South African court, and I would have kept quiet for the remainder, but I've been to Johannesburg and I myself visited that court. I visited the court because as a lawyer, I wanted to see the courtroom, which is the highest court in the land, the Constitutional Court. And the impact it had on me is immeasurable. It really changed the rest of my life. I thought I would go in there and be inspired by the law, which I was, but I left thinking about art and design. I felt like I was in a kind of a cultural space. And it's so amazing how they build memory in that place. And the other thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, Clarcha, but the courts in England are built where you walk in and you look up because the judge is put on high. In South Africa, you walk in and you are on high as the audience, and the judges are low and they sit low, and the rest of the people, and this idea of the people under the tree communicating together and forming in collaboration justice, jurisprudence. And also in the court is something so moving, which is a dress, an artwork of a dress that's made out of what we call in Jamaica scandal bag, which is like a shopping bags, so it's a blue sort of shopping bag. And it's based on an artist in South Africa who made a piece of art for a lady who had been killed under the apartheid regime, and she was treated horribly, tortured and kept naked, and she tried to find a blue bag so she could cover herself in a kind of a decency, just as a kind of a knickers. And she said, if I could just make you a dress. And it's so moving. And in that court is built in the whole memory, the idea that we can never go back. And I think that we're completely unimaginative when we come to think about courts. And the South African example is a powerful one. And I'd encourage everybody to Google it. If you're there, visit it, read about it. But I just think it's a powerful way of including people in a cultural experience, not just a legal experience, but one that's really powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never had the chance to go there, but we can learn a lot from South Africa and their tribunals and their way of dealing with taking responsibility and forgiveness. There's a lot to learn from them. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Do we have a question from Anne Friedman? And then Peter Gable.
I am this is fascinating and wonderful, and I'm so glad we're having this conversation. And I'm thinking about how how much is going on in the United States about associating the judicial system with the carceral state and also with security concerns. And when I think about, there's so much about a sense that in the court, you've got to control the defendant, and you've got to manifest authority and control, as you were talking about. And even the pictures you showed of the existing courtrooms in the prior courtrooms in the Netherlands were really kind of neutral, which some of our suburban courtrooms are more like that. But like in the big cities, there are lots of pictures of dead white men on the walls. And the atmosphere is one of an armed camp. And I was curious whether any of this kind of security paranoia is something that you've had to grapple with in your thinking about change, or whether this is something that only some countries are so hyper connecting the authoritarianism with this sense of the need for a police state in order, and that the criminal justice system, the criminal legal system, is about a very command and control version of public safety, which is completely in danger, right? You know, that kind of way. So I'm gonna mute myself so this phone doesn't happen.
Shall I respond on that, Klaartje? So, and yeah, we have the same here in Amsterdam. So when I saw the pictures of the new building and the new courthouse, I was just flabbergasted, because it was all about fear and control. And at the same time, it had to look like an open space. As a result, it's I don't know the exact amount, but billions of money to give the protection they think it's needed. And in my perception, it is crazy, because just a small part of the criminal cases need that level of security. Most of the cases are normal cases. Tragedy and very bad things happens in the case. So the case itself can be very serious, but not like the organized crime, which needs that level of protection. And when we just finished our project in Amsterdam, one of our colleagues, a criminal defense lawyer, was murdered, was killed. And because he was the lawyer, one of the witnesses who stated against one of the biggest criminals at this moment in the Netherlands. So it was a very big shock in Amsterdam, and also a very big impulse on more security. So yes, that is definitely an issue. We are facing that, and we are just hoping that we can influence the system in a way that we realize all together that fear is not going to help us. And you can never control if someone wants to do such a crazy thing like killing a lawyer. You cannot prevent that. Yeah, so maybe Klaartje, you want to add something?
I think the most important thing that we are trying to do here is to make room for discussions like these. And because, like Wieke said already, the courtroom is just another way to talk about these values. Like, why are we building this whole system around fear? It's such an important question, and it has it causes so much damage, so much more damage than the initial crime, you know, sometimes. And it's time that we think about this, and it's also time that people want to think about it and want to listen to this. But the interesting thing is, though, that funny enough, I came across this article from 1932 about a new courthouse in Amsterdam, which is already old in the meantime, and they just built a new room for the juvenile cases. And they said, oh, it's so nice because those cases were always held in the rooms where all the big murderers and everyone was convicted. And now they built a new room only for juveniles. And so it's been on the agenda for years, for ages, you know, this has always been a topic. And apparently in the meantime, we forgot that we already thought about that like so long ago, and we have to start all over again. So we probably just have to go through this every 100 years or so, or perhaps let's do it more often. Yeah.
I have a question, small question. Can I ask?
Sure, Dr. Param. The only thing is, I think I'm just looking at the time and I'm realizing that we were actually supposed to break now. And I think Peter had wanted to say something too. Do you want to maybe put your question in the chat perhaps? And that might be one possibility. I just want to be somewhat careful of people's time.
And can I say in the meantime, I saw that Raoul Nolan joined, and you don't have to say anything, Raoul, but we're organizing this project together with another, what do you call it, stichting? Well, it's an organization called Young in Prison, and he's a director of Young in Prison. And so he's working with boys that have been imprisoned, and they are willing to tell about their stories to the students that we're teaching to. So I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, Raoul. Nanette, did you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you? I think you wanted to say a word before we.
Well, in 1990, I think it was, I was part of a group from the critical legal studies movement of lawyers in the United States who were invited over to Poland and the Czech Republic to meet with the left lawyers there who had just overthrown their Soviet-style states in Eastern Europe. And they were creating a new constitution. Everything was up for grabs. And we had done this critique, our movement. I put an article in the chat that describes it, of the courtroom, of the hierarchy of the courtroom, of the judge in his robes elevated from the rest, of the founding fathers on the walls, and just the people in the back behind the gate that separated the experts in the specialized language. So we had developed a critique, a bit like your critique, of what's transmitted by this traditional courtroom in our country, in the West. And then I met with this woman at a cocktail party who was a lawyer, kind of an activist lawyer from, might have been Romania, who was there, who was saying, well, we hate our courtrooms because they're like toilets. People just come in, are processed in the administrative state of the Soviet-style state. There's no grandeur, there's no elevation, there's nothing, and we can't wait to adopt what you have in the West, which was a big problem in general, actually, in these interactions, is that they had the extreme opposite of what it was that we were rebelling against, and that was terrible too. And so I think what I learned from that, and what I'm learning from you all is, and from the article that you published in The Conscious Lawyer, actually, is the necessity of retaining beauty and an experience of elevation in the courtroom of the future, elevation of the spirit. So I think we don't want to throw that out with the hierarchy and the sort of traditional symbolic elements of oppression, I would call it. The black robes or the wigs, or however we articulate that. And so this has to do with maybe a discussion about neutrality versus something that elevates the spirit in being present in the room. Like you were, I'm very attracted to the idea of chairs that express hope, or restoring and retaining memory in these rooms that are evoked by the artwork or by just by everything in the aesthetic design of the room and way people dress in the room. What remembered is trying to be foreshadowed also. So just that, the importance of that elevating nature of the experience without it being oppressive and ritualizingly dominating.
I don't know if our speakers wanted to respond. I know Dr. Param had wanted to say something, so maybe we give Dr. Param the last word before we go, and we give deep thanks to our presenters. This was just fabulous. So go ahead, Dr. Param.
No, what it just say, I just message the same. It makes tremendous sense what the presenters had made. It's very interesting because I have always observed that there is a connection between the human personality and the objects we encounter and the designs and the spaces in which we interrelate. If justice is all about bringing the innate worth, the innate self, the true core self of the human consciousness, then the atmosphere and the ambience and the objects and the articles which are there with which we interact should be able to evoke that, should be able to bring out that breadth of consciousness, that higher consciousness. That makes tremendous sense. One thing that I have observed is that witness box in India, the witness box is a very small box. You know, in a spiritual understanding, the witness box is you witness a thing without participating in it. But in the witness box, when you stand, you feel terrified. I don't understand this. And it's such a small box and you are just put in a cloistered atmosphere. It's so stifling. So how can be a witness? How can I be a witness? I'm already pushed to such a level in which I don't have any thinking. So I'm very happy that to listen to you today, and I'm so grateful to the Spice Lab for initiating such new thinkings, something it's not even out of the box. It is beyond the human consciousness. I'm so thankful to all of you. Very nice, wonderful.
Thank you. Well, thank you all, I would say, and feel free to get in touch with us. We really, well, we're excited about this, as excited about this as you are, and so happy to share. You know, this is about sharing for us. This is because we're really doing this out of our own belief in what justice should be about. And yeah, so happy if you would contact us after this call, and we hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And then can I just say, please, those of you that can, check out Kim Vanderheiden's beautiful artwork on Lady Justice, which she's done in relationship with us. And what else am I forgetting? Make sure we have your email addresses in the chat line. And
the next phone call, next PISLAP call is February, is it 8th? Sorry, I believe it's February 8th. Sorry, just checking. Yes, February 8th, same time as today. And Peter will be leading that call on originalism and the Supreme Court and some of the issues around the religious right and spirituality that will be of great interest to many. So please join us if you can. And Claudia and Wicca, your work is just wonderful and very thought-provoking and very much entwined with what we in PISLAP are thinking about. So we're really appreciative to you both. All right.
Thank you.
Be well,
Please
everyone.
rejoin if you're members and your membership has expired. Please rejoin. Very small dues. Please send it in. We need it.
We really
Okay, it's on the, if you go to the website, spiritlawpolitics.org, spiritlawpolitics.org, you can join us, and joining really makes a big difference to us. So please do. spiritlawpolitics.org.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Nanette.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.